Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Game Time YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I am your host. K-State gets the big win today. K-State versus Troy. Number 15, K-State wins 42-13. Very close to my prediction. Not very close, but it was close enough. All right. I predicted a 56-10 win, 42-13. All right. I'll say close enough. Troy hung in there. I think they were more competitive than the score. I'll put it like that. At halftime, score was 21-10, and that was actually after a last-minute touchdown by Phillip Brooks in the last couple of minutes of the half. Okay, so the half could have easily been 14-10. Okay, Troy played very good defense against K-State. Really stopped the big plays, and they really hung in there. They were decent on offense, and they played some really good defense. Phillip Brooks had 2 touchdowns today. Okay, one rushing and one receiving. He had a game. Keegan Johnson played today. All right, a few receptions, just 3 receptions for 25 yards, but it was very nice to see him in there and really get him into that offense. I think he's going to be big. He's going to be good, but we got to get him into that offense and work him into a few series, get him comfortable, get him ready for these Big 12 games. Let's talk defense, okay? K-State played some hellified defense today, all right, in the second half, all right? The first half, it was very close. Game was very close in the first half. But in the second half, K-State shut Troy down. All right, let me break it down to you. 7 drives in the second half. Out of those 7 drives, 4 of them were 3 and outs. All right, 4 were 3 and outs, and Troy had to punt. 1 of them was a field goal. Troy got a field goal in the fourth quarter. 1 was a 4 and out. All right, we'll call that a 4 and out because it was a turnover on downs after 4th down. Okay, and then 1 was a fumble recovered by K-State. All right, turnover. So 7 drives, most of them, all right, were 3 to 4 and out. 1 was a turnover. And then 1 was their 1 score of the second half, which was a field goal. K-State played some special defense in the second half to hold Troy to 3 points and not very many yards, and to really push the score to what it was. All right, 42-13. It really could have been a closer game if K-State wouldn't have really stepped it up defensively in that second half and shut Troy's offense down. Let's talk some team stats here. K-State gets 20 first downs versus 15 for Troy. Troy was semi-efficient in offense, all right? They had 286 total yards, all right, versus 397 for K-State. So not a huge difference, but K-State's run defense did a number on Troy's rushing attack. Their main running back, Kamani Vidal, okay, who had 248 yards against Stephen F. Austin, the last team that Troy played. He only got 86 yards, okay? Total rushing, they only got 70 yards, so a few guys went negative. Really shut down that rushing attack, okay? K-State's rushing defense is very solid, or they were very solid against this team, okay? K-State gets 147 rushing. So, I think nobody went over 100 yards, okay, for K-State, but very solid, very efficient running attack. I think what you saw K-State's rushing game get a lot of first downs. I think you saw them really move the chains and really get that, first 5 yards on first down. Okay, you saw that a lot, 5, 6 yards, even 4 yards on first down to really keep the ball moving and keep things going. So rushing game was very efficient. Time of possession was pretty even. I think I mentioned in my reviews that if Troy was gonna be competitive in this game and win this game, that they would need to lead in time of possession, and they weren't really able to do that. K-State's defense, was shutting them down, getting them off the field. So pretty even there in possession time. So I think K-State won that battle. Let's look at the offense a little bit. So the passing game, all right, for K-State was sufficient. Okay, it was sufficient. 21 for 32, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 INT. The INT was kind of weird. Will Howard threw it into the end zone. He was trying to throw deep, and Troy caught the interception in K-State's end zone, for a touchback. So, I think this is the second interception of the season. We want to see that improve, but he got 3 touchdowns there. So 7.8 per pass. So I'll buy that. All right. Gunnar Watson had a decent game. I'm going to call it decent because he did get a touchdown, but he got 1 interception. Not very many yards, 167 yards, average game. I think K-State's defense bothered them. They did have some success in their passing game. I know one of their guys, their top receiver, Chris Lewis, caught a one-handed catch for the touchdown. So, I think they had some bright spots in their offense, but, they just couldn't really get consistent with it. And K-State's defense really shut them down in that second half. I think that's what it was. Let's look at receiving. All right. So K-State receivers, Phillip Brooks steps up today. 7 receptions for 94 yards. All right. I told you he had a game. All right. 1 touchdown. Jaden Jackson did well. He scored the first touchdown of the game. 4 receptions for 77 yards. Caught a 40-yarder. RJ Garcia, stepped back today. Didn't do as much, after that 100+ yard game against SEMO. It's possible that some teams were game playing against them. But it's good to see other guys step up because a team is not going to be able to stop everybody. On offense, we got to have weapons, and it looks like we've got some weapons. As you can see there, Keegan Johnson steps up into a role this game. Three catches for 25 yards. Not spectacular, but like I said in my preview, I wanted to see him catch some passes today. I wanted to see him kind of get involved in the offense, and it looks like he has, and so he's getting there. I'm expecting big things from him next game. All right, we'll see how it goes. Ben Sinnott had a slow game today. 1 reception for 5 yards. Again, I think teams are starting to key in on him. They see that he's very valuable in the passing game, and I think they try to set out to stop him. But, hey, when that happens, other guys are open, and as we can see, Phillip Brooks had a game. All right. Let's look at our rushing attack. So it's kind of interesting there. Trayshawn Ward and DJ Giddens had a pretty even game. They were pretty even with one another as far as yards go. Trayshawn Ward had more carries there, but they both combined for 110 yards. So like I've said before, we've got that 1-2 punch between them two. Some games Trayshawn Ward's going to get more yards. Some games DJ Giddens will. In this game, they just combined for over 100 yards. Total yardage of 147 rushing yards. Looks like Will Howard got in there. And look, Phillip Brooks gets his goal line pitch there, 2 yards for the touchdown. Had 2 touchdowns today. He's solid. He was Deuce Vaughn-esque in some of the plays that I saw him make today. I think, the loss of Deuce Vaughn in that running game, he was so dynamic. I mean, in the passing game, in the running game, I think you're seeing how we're using our new weapons with the Trayshawn Ward, all right, with the Giddens, with Brooks. We're using them to combine for the production that, we lost with Deuce Vaughn. Okay, so really nice to see those guys gelling, coming together in a cohesive offense that's very productive, and they're going to be fun to watch this year. Let's take a look at the conference standings. All right, so games are ongoing right now as we speak. Okay, I know many teams are still playing right now. K-State sitting there at 2-0. KU there at 2-0. They've got 2 wins. Baylor down at the bottom there at 0-2. They lost to Utah today in Waco, so they're struggling, I think, to get off the ground this year. So we'll see how that plays out. Texas playing Alabama today at Alabama. Last I checked, they were up 13-9. So I think that was maybe it was the first half, might have been the third quarter. So they're playing well. We'll see if they can hold that up. Oklahoma beats SMU today, 28-11. Okay, so Oklahoma's off to a 2-0 start. BYU wins today. Big games in the Big 12. I think K-State has one more non-conference game coming up against Missouri next week. That's going to be a big game. If you watched the game last year, K-State put it down on Missouri. All right, put it down. But this year we're playing in Columbia, and I think Missouri wants some payback. So K-State is going to have to be ready to play. I'll do a preview on that game coming up in the next couple days. Tell you a little bit about what I think of Missouri and how they match up. We'll see how it goes. So, all right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening.